Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an amazing week of College Success Coaching. I am Eric Allen, and you're in for a treat. You're going to find out why you shouldn't feel so bad about having to pay for college. We're also going to talk about why you might be lonely on campus with all these awesome people around you and what you can do to change their situation. So get ready, let's strap in and do it. Before, of course, we do anything else, we have to talk about the mug of the week. This week, it is the Police Box from Doctor Who. If you don't know what that is, shame on you. It is was a fantastic show. I'm biased. I don't like the newer seasons, but that's just because they're terrible. That's all. And feel free to comment in this, or you can send me a message, and I'll help you out with why you're wrong. So anyway, the mug of the week makes me happy as usual. And traveling through time, I'm actually 2 weeks ahead of where you all are at now in life. And I just went back today to let you know how everything is. Everything's going to be okay, just so you know, at least for 2 weeks. I dare not venture 3. Okay, so that's the mug of the week. We have to still see if the coffee's worth drinking, though, because that's always honestly the most important part. Oh, yep, that coffee traveled right back in time to when it was the most delicious. So I hope you are all doing well. I had some very interesting questions from some of you, and I do want to address those. But first, I do want to address something that might make you feel a little bit better, or it might make you feel way worse, or you might not care because, you just have scholarships or you don't pay for school, your parents do. But either way, it's time for the article of the week. The article of the week, which I posted in the chat, if you're watching this on YouTube, it is in the description. You can always click on that and you can follow along. I will give you 1 second to do that. This is from the Foundation for Economic Education. It is titled, "Free College is Bad for Students." And then it has a subtitle, just in case you were wondering, is free K through 12 education also bad for students? Dun, dun, dun. This is from Friday, October 13th of 2017. So this was before last Halloween, not this one, although the person in the front page of this does look like they're having a scare. It begins, "One of the anomalies of the 2016 presidential election was the fact that an old white guy from Vermont was able to captivate a diverse audience of young millennials." Wow, that's saturated with so much bigotry. I just can't even deal. Ageism, anyone? Anyway. The most obvious reason for Bernie Sanders' popularity was his advocacy for free government-funded college. Maybe. With higher education costs multiplying at a rapid rate and college-looking fees, it is easy to understand how millennials would welcome to help an increase in their prospects. Okay, fair. I mean, people like free things, and college is expensive, as you know, or don't, in which case, let me know, and we'll talk about how you made that happen, and that should be encouraging for others or make them really mad. But free college doesn't appear to increase the prospects of young people as much as we've thought. I don't know who we are, and I don't know what research, so hopefully they get a little bit more in depth here. In fact, it may actually diminish their chance of future success. This revelation was recently uncovered in a National Bureau of Economic Research paper on England's experience with free college. Oh, wait, so we have a model for free college that an entire federal bureau did an economic research paper on. This should be, I don't know what this is going to be. It can be interesting, but let's just walk through it, okay? So the first subtitle after the beginning one about K through 12, which this doesn't mention at all, so maybe they just buried the lead. More inequality and less quality. So according to the researchers, England's population had a brief period of free college in the late 90s. Over that time, it caused the quality to decline and socioeconomic inequality to rise. You got to be really careful here. And again, I will always go back to, I'm very big on critiquing articles that talk about research papers. I don't have the research paper in front of me, so unless they start to describe the methodology and they start to describe the N and all these other things, and they talk about confounding variables that they looked at, this is a logical jump to me. It is true that at this time, economic inequality rose in England, but that is not necessarily because of free college. So I just want to make that really clear. Correlation does not mean causation. The number of suicides have increased over the years. The number of Nicolas Cage movies per year has also increased over the years. Wait, that's a really bad way to not show that correlation is not causation. Anyway, I still love Nicolas Cage. Much love. If you're watching this, I don't know why you went to college already, but much love. Sensing a problem, the English college system changed course and began slowly requiring students to pay for more of the costs, most notably through loans, which would be paid back once they began their careers. So then they wrote an article in Forbes that talked about how 20 years later, the reforms look like they're successful. Higher education funding climbed back up after the end of free college. So it went from free to not free and no money for it because there was no system in place because we didn't need it, it was free, to now having funding again for it, much like with us. Universities could now lean on tuition fees for revenue instead of just taxpayers. Here's where an argument could be made, right? Taxpayers don't necessarily want their taxes to go up just because the university needs more cash. But they could always raise tuition as a private entity, and then if you're willing to pay it, then they get more money. So there is an argument to be made there. That's fine. But higher prices did not reduce access. That's interesting. Enrollments climbed after the end of free college, and enrollment gaps between rich and poor students narrowed. Due to tuition revenue, universities could serve more students who wanted the degrees, and in 2015, the government was finally able to abolish all caps on enrollment of domestic students. Wow. Okay, so now we have a direction that the country went. You can see there was a pattern, there was a cap, there was a real policy that limited college for a number of students. And guess what? Less competitive students couldn't go to the college when there was a cap. Now that there was no cap, and as long as you could afford to go, and there were assistance programs, more kids could go. So now we have a logical step-by-step way that it shows us it makes sense to say that getting rid of state-funded college and putting it back to private-funded college allowed for more students to go. That's fine. That's actually fair. As a nifty little graph here, this is funding sources for higher education in England. And in 2017 to 2018, graduates were paying a lot more of it, and taxpayers were paying half of what the actual graduates were paying, versus 1997 to 98, where taxpayers were paying for it almost entirely. And what's interesting is it has billions of 2016 pounds, and it's up to 4 billion total being paid to higher education in England in 97, 98. In 2017, 2018, it is triple that just from the graduates, and then it is almost double that for the state. So both increased, but if you look at how much more money universities have, 2017, 2018, just 20 years later, it's like almost 4 times the amount of money that they had. So that's significant, and it's significant for resources that colleges have to do a better job. I mean, I think it's pretty clear if professors are being paid more and research projects are able to be funded to a larger degree, and you're able to appeal to more students, you have better facilities, more updated facilities, the latest tech, you have the best, newest books. I think it's safe to say that the quality of education would increase. This is a logical leap for me because I'm not the one doing the research, but I'm just saying, let's make some logical conclusions here too. So Cooper notes, England's experience highlights a fundamental problem with the government's role in higher education. If universities rely more on government than students for funding, the level of investment in higher education hinges on the whims of politicians rather than the needs of the students. I would say, again, see NASA versus SpaceX. Similar, just saying. In pondering such a statement, I couldn't help but wonder if such could be the case not only in higher education, but in K through 12 schooling as well. Okay, so now we're here. We finally arrived. They buried the lead all the way down here. So, fixing our broken education system. So anytime a news article of any sort tries to start telling you what the solution is to a problem in an article, the grain of salt should probably be the size of a horse's salt lick. You thought I was going to say something else. We've had publicly funded K through 12 schooling so long, we can't think to imagine anything different. True. After all, who would build the schools? Who would pay for the tuition and books and teachers and any number of things if the government didn't fork out taxpayer dollars to do so? Okay. But what we forget is the fact that publicly funded education was not the long-term plan of the American founders. I didn't forget that. I never knew that. Did you? Comment below on that one. I'd be very interested how many people knew that Thomas Jefferson advocated for publicly funded schooling, but only for the first 3 years. Let me know. I'd be very interested. I did not know that. I certainly was never taught that. And it's not like I didn't go to classes with people who were in the education field. So that's interesting. Jefferson strongly encouraged education beyond this 3-year period, but he stipulated that it was to be funded by a student's parents and not the state. Those who didn't have the financial resources but proved themselves exemplary students would be entitled to a type of scholarship to advance in learning. Obviously, third grade, we would say now today, is nowhere near where you would need to be like survivable in our society. But I kind of get what he was saying at that time, when it was much more agrarian society and the Industrial Revolution wasn't really a thing. But the students of that era seem to be none the worse for wear either, as estimated literacy rates for the colonial period are quite high. That's not a statistic. That's not a number. I would love to see the actual statistics on college graduate literacy rates or high school graduate literacy rates today, or just literacy in general in America, versus then per capita or percentage. Either one would be nice, but this person didn't bother to do the research for that. But then they offer, what if we return to a similar plan? So really, this is just, and they say it seems blasphemy to suggest it. I disagree. Nothing's blasphemous if it's an idea in the ether. If we try to start shoving policy down our throats, though, you're going to have a little more evidence than that. But I want you all to see, here was a research paper that was put into this article, which gave good information, but the information stopped a couple of paragraphs ago, and now it's all about speculation. And then it's speculation and problem solving for, number one, a problem that may not really be a problem, or that might not be the problem, and a solution that has no real concrete basis in fact or research. There's not a country we can compare this to today that's post-industrial and has a K through 12 system and that isn't having state funding. So it's really impossible to tell. I mean, everything else would be kind of apples and oranges. But I mean, you could say, yeah, there's an argument to be made to try it. There's private schools, and we know that private schools tend to be good. These are difficult questions to ask, but ones we should examine if we're truly serious about fixing our broken education system. Again, just laced with negativity and comments about things being bad or broken, when it might not be that the system is broken, but that it's not working as efficiently and as well as it can be, or maybe it's not even that issue at all. I mean, consider this. What if it's a cultural issue? What is one of the number one things that I talk about with you guys every week? Purpose, value, drive, and how those things mix together. What if we as a country are just not that good anymore at instilling values and purpose in you guys? So then you're talking to me and I'm talking to you, and we're having these dialogues, and it's kind of new and exciting to talk about understanding why you're even on this earth. And then once you understand that, feeling confident, proud, and excited about becoming the best version of that purpose you can. What if that's one of the problems? That's my personal, philosophical, psychological, anecdotal, that's my opinion. So you can tell me what your opinion is. You can throw that down in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Please feel free to send this on the questions and answers right now if you're on my live stream. But let's talk about this, because I really think that that is one of the bigger, if not the biggest issue, and that everything else was sort of self-correct for the most part. I mean, there may be other problems in the system, but my what if is, what if we instill the need in every individual to get as much as they could out of their education, regardless of where they are, in order to fulfill their purpose in life? Because I think that's exciting. And I think you do too, based on what you guys tell me so far. But throw me some more questions and answers in there. I'm really happy to always answer those. And I get excited. This is my purpose and value in life. So I'm happy to have that. And if you are on the YouTube, you can always like and subscribe and hit the notification bell on here, and we can grow as a community outside of collegesuccesscoaching.com. But if you do want to take a jump into the pool and see what it's like and what we're all about every week live, you can always go on to www.collegesuccesscoaching.com. It's a free 2-week trial. You can say start now, or there's a couple of different calls to action on the website. Click on one of those. You throw in some payment information. It's charged unless you decide to stick around. It's a 2-week free trial on me. You're welcome. And for you to try it out, because I'm confident that once you're in this community and you see how much fun we have and how much more you're getting out of your life just kind of talking about these things for an hour a week, I think you'll stay. So thanks for watching. This has been the Article of the Week. All right, everyone. So thank you for going through this with me. I already have a couple of comments on here so I didn't have any purpose or reason to even care about school until I talked to you guys this summer. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. And another one that says, I actually read now. But is that because you find value to reading? You like reading now, or because of what I was saying, that you know it's a vehicle to learning more and then getting more out of your life? The second. Okay, I'll take it. Hey, I'll take it. It's what we do here. I'm really excited to have people here every week. I love when new people come in. Hello. I'm glad that you're here. If you're watching this as a pre-recorded, it's Tuesdays. Just jump on. We're here right now. Anyway, we're going to be switching when the winter comes because winter is coming. Is Game of Thrones still relevant? I don't know. Anyway, let's get into the other questions and answers. I do want to make sure that you all have time today to get off here and go off to serve one another in Fallout 76 beta if you're on an Xbox. So I do want to talk about loneliness in college. A lot of what I have been dealing with over the years with students is this idea of making new friends, making real friends, and feeling lonely even if you're surrounded by people in college. So I'm going to be writing blogs on my page that you can always go to as well, and that'll be free for anyone to look at, and you can also share it and show it to people so that you have something to talk to them about. And if anything resonates with you on there, you can always feel free to send me a message, eric.allen@collegesuccesscoaching.com, and then let me know, and then I'll put a shout out to you on the next video. But basically what I'm getting in general in the last week and a half, and this is high school and college, is I'm lonely, or I don't have any friends, or I have friends but I don't trust them, or I don't think anybody really considers me a good friend. Let's break that down to a couple of things, and then we'll talk about potential solutions. Number one, you feeling like you're not a good friend does not mean everybody agrees with that assessment. Okay, so I'm going to throw that out right away. You might be a great friend and you just don't think you are, or you're not getting the indications that you are from other people, which means they're not giving you what you're looking for. That does not mean they're not willing to. It means they don't know most of the time. So, and we'll talk foreshadowing. It might mean you need to ask. Anyway, and identify what those things are. The second thing is you might have crappy friends. That's real. I'm not going to say it's not. You might have friends that are just fair weather friends, they're called. I think that's like a 1920s phrase, but it's valid here, right? It's appropriate. You might have friends that really only stick around when things are easy, and you might not feel like you can lean on them for anything because you never have, but you never have because you never thought you could. You see how that might be a vicious cycle? Again, foreshadowing to solutions. So it might be that. It might be that you have great friends. You just don't believe that. And maybe you're not a good friend. Hey, maybe you're not a good friend. Maybe you don't share. Maybe you don't open up. Maybe you don't trust. And I'm not judging. This is not me saying you're a terrible person, you suck at being a friend, give up. I'm saying this to point out how much power you have over this situation. My hope is that it's you. And for the most part, usually it is, right? Because it's your life. So I really hope it's you. Because if it's you, and if you're watching this and you're the one that said this, or you just resonate with what I'm saying right now, you have so much control over fixing the situation if it is you. Maybe people don't get you because you don't explain yourself as well. Maybe we can work on you getting better at talking about how you feel about things. Maybe we can work on being comfortable with silence so you don't always have to say something. Maybe we can work on security so you don't feel the need to hit people up all the time even after you just got done seeing them, or you leave at an appropriate time at night so they feel like they can invite you over again, or you just have better habits, hygiene and otherwise, that make you desirable for people to spend time with. Imagine if it was all you and you could do these stupid, simple things, some of them harder, but some of them easy, that we could write down and list out, and then you could definitely see an improvement in how people treat you and how you treat yourself and how you feel about yourself, your confidence going up, and you just feeling like people are more connected to you, you getting what you're looking for out of your life. I really hope it's you, because if it is you, that's the best problem you can have, one that you created, so one that you can simply stop creating. You don't even have to do anything extra. You can just stop doing what's causing the problem. That's the best. But if it's those other things, let me talk about a couple things. If it isn't you, and it really is your friends, and they're just boneheads, and they don't give you what you're looking for, ask. Let them know, hey, sometimes I feel like you don't really trust me. Do you? Sometimes when we hang out and you hang out with other people and you don't invite me, I feel like that's a personal thing. Like that maybe you're embarrassed to be around me. Is that true? And if they say, oh no, man, it's not true, or hey, you're my best friend, because girls are great at this. No, we're best friends. Then ask, could you invite me next time? Put them on the spot. Ask them. If they get uncomfortable, there really is something going on with them, and it may not be them. It may be their other friends. Drill down and get to the bottom of it, depending on how close this friend is to you and how much you're willing to risk. Or you could let it go and just know that they have something wrong with them, and it's them, not you. The other thing is, let's say that you don't know if you can trust somebody and lean on somebody. I don't know, try it out when it's not so essential. Good way to find out. Or ask them, hey, you can lean on me, right? If you needed something, you could call me. And they'll probably say yes, because you're probably awesome. You're here, so you're probably awesome. I'm not biased at all. Totally unbiased. But you probably are really a good person. And you probably are one of these good friends. And so they would probably say, yeah, of course. Yeah, I know that. And then you can ask them, I could do that for you too, right? They'll probably say yes. Remember, hold them to what they say. If people don't commit anything to you, you can't hold them to it. But if people commit to you, you can hold them to it. And then it's just a trial and error. Some people are going to be liars. Some people are going to disappoint you. But better to be disappointed and know who you shouldn't be investing in anymore than to wait and never really find out and continue to be with people that are kind of useless. So try those out. If it's more specific and more concerning than that, I'd love to know. Again, shoot me an email. And if you guys would like, I can do an entire program just on loneliness, friendship, how to be a good friend, how to get good friends. I'd love to do it. So let me know. And other than that, if there's no other questions, we'll say going once, going twice, sold to the man in the blue police box. I'll see you guys next time.
Did you like that video? Did you find it interesting? Do you want to find out more about how to get more out of life? That's a lot of mores, and we can do even more than that. So if you would like to check out our website, www.collegesuccesscoaching.com, you can see what it's all about. I answer live questions every week. I have videos with experts in all kinds of fields that can help you to learn more about what they do and what you could be doing, and even more. We have resources on the website. It's a blast. So go ahead, check out the website. It's risk-free. 2 weeks on me. You're welcome. And otherwise, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can get all these article reviews, as well as every once in a while, I'll do a live Periscope where I'll answer any questions anybody sends me throughout that time. So keep on keeping on. We'll see you soon.